Netflix just made a home of true crime for some of their new true crime titles, and I'm gonna break down what I think some of them are gonna be about. So immediately Bitcoin, but it's in CAD instead of USD, so maybe something about crypto in Canada? Wait, oh, that's a crypto ledger, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically like what really techie people or like hackers use to store their crypto because it's more secure. Okay, but it's true crime, so I'm guessing it's something about someone hacking into crypto accounts in Canada. But guys, please let me know if you see any other clues. On to the next one. Okay, so first off, it's giving me like royalty vibes, like very expensive things, so maybe something about the royal family. Okay, so there's a girl in the middle with a crown, 2 thrones, and 2 little cats. Okay, so what true crime case is about royalty and cats? wait, is that animal print? Selfies that were taken seconds before death. Part 2. Businessman Gia Lajuna attempted to take a selfie with a 1.5-ton walrus at a zoo in China. After climbing into the enclosure, the walrus grabbed him from behind, dragged him underneath the water, drowning him in a matter of minutes. Chinese daredevil Wu Yongjing was an Instagram celebrity best known for taking selfies on top of skyscrapers. While trying to take a selfie on top of a skyscraper in 2017, he lost his grip, falling 62 stories to his death. In 2014, during Spain's annual Running of the Bulls event, 32-year-old David Gonzalez decided to stop and take a selfie in front of 2 bulls that were colliding behind him. All of a sudden, a third bull that he didn't see came from his side and gored him to death. Shocking war facts that school definitely didn't teach you. Part 7. In World War I, a carrier pigeon was shot, blinded, and had her leg blown off, but was still able to deliver her message, saving 194 soldiers. Diarrhea was the leading cause of death in the American Civil War, and they had a truce that said that you couldn't shoot someone that was pooping. Well, I guess I would have just taken a war-long shit. The most successful Nazi interrogator in World War II never actually physically harmed an enemy soldier. Instead, he would treat them with respect and kindness by letting them go on walks, visit their comrades in the enemy hospital, and even letting one captured pilot test flight an airplane. Virtually everybody talked. World War I could have ended hours earlier, but one man wanted to wait until the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Ironically, 11,000 men were either killed or wounded, waiting for the truce to take place. Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 12. The Mayans made such horrible tasting alcohol that it was extremely common for people to just inject it into their butt so they didn't have to drink it. And guys, let me tell you, butt chugging gets you drunk fast. I mean, just look how happy this guy is. Ibrahim the Mad of the Ottoman Empire was obsessed with the genitals of a particular cow. So much so that he had a cast made of them in gold that he traveled with in hopes of finding a woman that matched. Eventually though, he did find his Cinderella, which was a 350-pound woman that he nicknamed Sugar Cube. In the Elizabethan era, the word nothing was slang for vagina, coming from the idea that women had no thing between their legs. Therefore, Shakespeare's play Much Ado About Nothing is actually very much ado about fucking. Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 11. In 17th century Europe, it was extremely common for nannies to give young boys a handy to help them fall asleep at bedtime. Mary Poppins could have been a totally different movie. Confessional booths were built by the church not for privacy, but to prevent priests from trying to have sex with the women who confessed their sins. Ancient Romans used a plant called silphium as an extremely effective contraceptive. However, they had so much sex that the plant actually went extinct. 16-year-old Thomas Granger was the first person executed in the US when he was hanged at Plymouth in 1642. His crime? Having sex with a horse, cow, sheep, 2 goats, 2 calves, and a turkey. I guess pilgrims did a little more than just eat the turkey on Thanksgiving. Weirdest world records that will make your skin crawl. Part 1. In 2005, a kid from Australia named Tom Buchanan broke the world record for the most spiders on his body for 30 seconds. He let 125 golden orb spiders crawl all over him for nearly a minute straight. Claudio Paulo Pinto set the record for the furthest eyes popping out of head in 2015 when he popped his eyes 7 millimeters out of their sockets. American twins Billy Leon and Benny Lloyd McCrary together weigh over 1,400 pounds, giving them the record for the largest twins in the world. In 2004, Mehmet Yilmaz squirted milk from his eye into a coffee cup that sat 5 feet away from him. He drank the milk through his nose, squirted it out of his eyeball, giving him the record for the most milk squirted out of someone's eye. In 2012, Zeus was named the world's tallest dog, measuring a whopping 3 foot 8 inches standing and 7 foot 2 on his hind legs. This dog is literally as tall as Shaq. Israel Keys, the serial killer who had no preferred victim and never killed in the same place twice. He would randomly bury murder buckets across the US and wait for the most opportune time to kill someone who was nearby. When shopping, he kept his phone off and only paid in cash. He specifically went for campgrounds and other isolated locations, only using guns when he had to, as he liked to strangle his victims because he liked to watch them suffer. Israel's last victim was 18-year-old Samantha Cohen, a coffee booth employee in Anchorage, Alaska. He kidnapped her from her workplace in February 2012, took her debit card, and killed her the following day. He proceeded to abandon her body in a shed and go on a cruise with his family in the Gulf of Mexico. 2 weeks later, he returned back to Alaska, where he removed Samantha's body from the shed, sewed her eyes open with fishing line, and snapped a picture of a 4-day-old newspaper to make it appear as though she was alive. Israel used this photo to demand $30,000 as ransom from her family. However, this ultimately led to his capture because police were able to track the withdrawals from his bank account. He died by suicide in his jail cell in December of 2012, leaving investigators clueless as to the true number of victims that Israel had killed. But in 2020, the FBI released drawings of skulls and a pentagram which had been drawn in Israel's blood and found underneath his bed, indicating that he had 11 victims as represented by the 11 skulls. To this day, the case still remains unresolved, which is why we should still talk about blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. If your plane is crashing into the water, just know that flight attendants are trained to not allow any dead bodies on life rafts. That means no saving grandma for her funeral, simply yeet that bitch overboard. 1 out of every 50 women have a third nipple, and 1 out of every 100 men do too. This is known as a supernumerary nipple, and Mark Wahlberg actually has one. Harry Styles has 2. Your baby foreskin can be used as replacement skin for burn victims. That means one can quite literally be a dick face. There are corn stars born in the year 2003. That's the same year The Cat in the Hat came out. Male fetuses get boners in the womb, and these can often be seen on ultrasounds. Motherfucker. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. There's a parasite called guinea worm that enters your leg through infected drinking water, and you won't even know that you have it until a year later when it comes out through blisters on your skin. And at this point, it's over 2 feet long. It's commonly believed that the chlorine in pools make our eyes red. However, it's actually chlorine mixing with urine that causes this to happen. After 49 people were killed at the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, cops were investigating the scene, and you'd think it'd be pretty quiet in there. But it was actually filled with sounds of ringing cell phones. Friends, family members, loved ones, calling the people that they knew were at Pulse and hoping they'd answer the phone and say they were okay. Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. There's a parasite called guinea worm that enters your leg through infected drinking water, and you won't even know that you have it until a year later when it comes out through blisters on your skin. And at this point, it's over 2 feet long. It's commonly believed that the chlorine in pools make our eyes red. However, it's actually chlorine mixing with urine that causes this to happen. After 49 people were killed at the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, cops were investigating the scene, and you'd think it'd be pretty quiet in there. But it was actually filled with sounds of ringing cell phones. Friends, family members, loved ones, calling the people that they knew were at Pulse and hoping they'd answer the phone and say they were okay. So Mischief, the company that did the Lil Nas X Satan shoes, sent me a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna open it up and see what's inside. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Yo, this is sick. It looks like something from GTA. It looks like blurred video game money. So the first card is Jesus shoes. I got a fishing permit in Massachusetts. Snip, 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 snip. Krispy Kreme donuts. Nice. It's a rock. This is someone's like senior portrait. Massachusetts hunting license. Wait, this is another hunting card. So now I have 2 hunting cards in Massachusetts and 1 in Alabama. Good thing my girlfriend lives in Boston and my cousin lives in Birmingham. Holy crap, look how many cards they sent me.